Adrian Scott. Adrian Scott.
Well, greetings and shalom. Welcome to Hebrew Rooted, and I am Adrian Scott. Now, this really is going to be an update, but I never like calling it an update because what am I updating? I'm sitting in the same place doing the same things. But there is a little bit of information that I wanted to share regarding the channel and just things that are going on in general. And so I guess whatever I want to call it, it ends up being an update. Okay. So I guess the big announcement that I would start with is to say that Ray Gaucher is taking a hiatus from the channel. He will not be showing up for the next little while. That's not to say that he's not going to be back, and we will be seeing him on the channel. Ray and I have been together, and we have been friends so long, and we are connected to such a degree that truly at this point I honestly regard him more as family, direct family, than I do as a friend. And that kind of bond does not get broken. But with circumstances for all of us right now, that would be myself and my wife Kristen and Ray and his wife Susan, there's just a lot of things going on right now, and some things need to be sorted out, figured out. This is partly the result of this partly has been my reduced amount of content that I am putting on the channel. I am continuing on my idea of trying to do a video a week. Eventually, I do want to increase that, and at some point, we will be seeing Ray return. So it's kind of funny because this is all happening in the midst of sort of rebranding the channel. Of course, formerly known as Truth and Testimony of the Broadcast. Now, we're calling ourselves Hebrew Rooted. Most of the programming, there's not really a lot of change going on that. You're still going to have your shekels for your thoughts and your Bible breaks and journey through the Psalms and other content like that have been showing up. That's going to continue. We are bringing some new things in, like I'm going to be doing more stuff with my wife in our segment we're calling Couples Corner. And again, a Couples Corner, the idea with that is just really, it's not so much a direct biblical teaching or anything in that sense. It's more a case of what does a faith walk look like in our house? How do we apply this? How do we fit things in to what is going on with our family in our environment, in our part of the world, in Western Canada here? And how do we face these things? How do we approach these things from a biblical perspective? And how do we see that? How do we view that biblical perspective? One thing I've said on numerous occasions has been something that's essential to understanding the Bible is to also understand the culture and the context in which the Bible was written. And the fact of the matter is, whether we like it or not, the culture and context that we are in today is not the same from those people those many years ago as the Bible was written. So how they applied things, how it fit into their lives is not the same thing for us. So it is an ongoing challenge to try to evaluate those things and say, okay, how do we take that teaching and apply that for us here today in this world? And that's a lot of what we discuss on Couples Corner, especially how we're relating that to raising Autumn and Abigail and our older children, Adrian and Brittany, because it's a challenge. Anyone that's a believer knows that walking a faith walk in this world is a challenge. And I mean, the Messiah himself said it, right? I mean, you will be persecuted for my name's sake. If you're actually doing the things you should be doing, you're going to face adversity and you're going to face trials and tribulations, and they're not going to be pleasant. And, so that's, how do you deal with that? That's what we talk about on Couples Corner. The other shows you already know. And so I don't really need to rehash on those too much. So a lot of that stuff's going to be changing. But the other big thing that is going on is it is really a case of rebranding. I'm looking at getting a whole new system of graphics and just kind of enhancing the image of the channel to make it look a little more vibrant and interesting, because it can get a little boring just sitting here staring at my face the whole time. So, if we can get those little visual elements that help, it does. The fact of the matter is it does keep it more interesting. And my goal is not to bore people to death. There, I've just said it. Let's just get it out. I don't want to bore you to death. I'd like you to be as interested as possible. And I hope that you're engaged with the videos, And part of that, by the way, is commenting below, because I know sometimes there can be a bit of a lag until I get a chance to actually go through that stuff. But I do read all of the comments that do come in. And I try to respond to them as much as I possibly can. So, yeah, I do encourage that as well. So that's kind of the status of what's going on. We're not going to see Ray for a little while, but he will be back. And in the meantime, you're going to see a little bit of a new look on the channel. And again, the biggest change going from Truth and Testimony, the broadcast, to Hebrew Rooted, just because really the idea was Hebrew Rooted more closely aligns with what it is we believe. And not that there's anything wrong with Truth and Testimony, the broadcast, but it does have a certain ambiguity to it. And both Ray and I just felt that we wanted to make what the point of the channel was and what we were doing with it as abundantly clear as possible. And I think the name Hebrew Rooted pretty much encapsulates that. That's what we're about, the Hebrew roots of our faith. How do we interpret that? How do we apply that to our lives? What does it look like? And that's what we're trying to do. One other thing I did want to mention moving forward is, I have already announced that unfortunately my ability to get videos produced has slowed down. I am trying to meet that goal, that target right now of 1 video a week. Honestly, if I have no ideas, if I've got nothing to say, and because the prevailing idea is I've always promised myself and everyone watching this channel that if I'm making a video, it's because I want to make a video, not because I feel I have to make a video. Because as soon as you're just doing it out of obligation, the result's not going to be good and the heart's not going to be in it. And frankly, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of truth in it. So if it gets to a point where I may even skip a week, then that's going to be what it is. But you can know and rest assured that anytime that a video is put on the channel, on Hebrew Rooted, it's because I wanted to put it there. Just believe that, trust that, and know that that is the case. And eventually, my goal, I'm looking in the not too distant future that I'm finally going to be retiring after over 3 decades at my job. I've put in my time and I'm close to retirement. When that time comes, we haven't firmly decided on when it's going to be, but when that time comes, and it's not that far off, I really do believe and feel that my ability to step up my production will definitely go up, because I'm not going to be losing a good chunk of my day having to go do a day job. I can spend a lot more time researching the things that I want to research, gathering information, and recording these videos for you. So that's something to look forward to. And so there you go on the channel. We'll be seeing Ray again. We'll be seeing more of my wife, and I will have regular content going up. That is my goal. I'm going to continue doing that. And again, just know that anything I do, it's because I want it to be there. And I enjoy sharing information. I enjoy kind of giving my perspective on stuff for that to be tested and examined by people. I don't think I'm perfect. So I always say, don't just take my word for anything I say, test everything. Because why would I say that? Because that means you're getting into your word. And maybe one of the most important things to me is for me and you and everyone around us to be as much in that word as we possibly can. It is the source of blessing. It is the source of life. It is our heart and soul. is that word. I mean, that is it. That's the biggest thing. When I was, in my previous life as an evolutionist, that was one of my biggest things, is that Bible is not true. It's a book of fairy tales and superstitions for small-minded people who need a crutch to get through their day-to-day lives. That is what I used to believe. I do not believe that anymore. God saw in his infinite wisdom that it was time, when it happened, to pull the blinders off of my eyes so that I could see a little bit of that truth. And it was a shakeup for me, for certain. But I like to think that I've embraced it and I've done what I can to learn what I can so that I can relay that to my family and, by extension, now you. So having said that, I'll take the opportunity and just say thanks for watching the video. Thanks for joining me on this ride. And I really do appreciate everyone that watches this stuff, and just for being here and being subscribed to the channel. And that's my cue where I'm going to say, don't forget, if you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe if you've not already done so. All of those things do help the videos and the message to spread to others. And we just want, I think all of us have a vested interest here in wanting this information and access to this knowledge to be shared with others so that they have the opportunity to get into that word themselves and learn it for themselves, whether they are kind of the prodigal son that have wandered away and are coming back, or people like me that never had a start in that to begin with and kind of have learned and found a new path later in life. So it's all about the journey. We don't judge anyone where they're at in the journey. Some people are further ahead, some are further behind. There's a great little song called Wear Sunscreen, done by a fella named Boz Lerman, which is an interesting story on that one, based on an actual newspaper article that this lady, I believe she was celebrating her 100th birthday, but this lady wrote an editorial for the local newspaper on what she had learned in 100 years of living. And that was one of the lines in there was, the race is long, and in the end, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. And I thought that was a profound bit of wisdom, so I will close with that in this video. Again, I thank you all for watching. I wish blessings to all of you in the name of Yeshua, our Messiah. And I do say shalom. Have a great week. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.